2016, Stuckey and Company will celebrate our 25-year anniversary as an MGA, offering our agents access to solid A-rated carriers like The Hartford, Safeco, Travelers, Chubb, and ACE, just to name a few, and really excited about that. 25 years. In the 25 years, these are the products and programs that we have. Just to run through them really quick, Safety Tech is an insurance program for the technology industry. Harbor Guard is an insurance program for marinas and boat dealerships. The Aspire A&E program is professional liability for architects and engineers. MPL is miscellaneous professional liability. We have like 350 different classes that we can insure the professional on. We have Servicer Pro, which is an insurance program for the appliance repair industry. Element for the green energy industry. Personal Lines, which is home, auto, boat, and high-value home. Great product and a growing line for us. Commercial Lines, which is BOP, comp, auto, bonds, EPLI, D&O, those types of things. And anything that falls outside of the commercial lines, we also have a surplus lines department. So if it's new in business or has had some claims in a tough area, we can place some tougher property and GL stuff. Next, I'd like to thank Tracy Hagee, the Select Customer Service Rep for The Hartford, for presenting. The Hartford is now and has always been at the leading edge of marketing in general, and specifically when it comes to social selling. So thank you, Tracy, for coming. I appreciate it. So let's dig in.
So thanks for having me, Dwight. We really appreciate the opportunity to talk through social selling and how to increase growth opportunities for your agencies. Some of these slides we're going to move pretty quickly through. Others we'll spend some more time on. We click for the next, or do you want me to click?
Yeah, you know, before we like totally start, let's. I have not done this before, but let's try a poll question. So Stuckey and Company, we've been trying to put together some great, product differentiator webinars, and we had a lot of success this year doing that. We're looking to do some continuing education and certification classes and just coverage differentiators and all kinds of stuff. So I just put a question up there that basically, what kind of training are you guys interested in? It'll help us, model what we're going to do in 2016. All right. Well, thank you. That just sounded. I'm not sure what you guys see on your side, but 100% really said all of the above, which is terrific because we have a lot of really cool individual webinars. We have CE classes, certification classes for commercial sales certifications, everything kind of below the CIC, CPCU type of stuff and things. And one more. Close that. One more poll question, which will give us an idea of the type of social selling that you're doing. What type of social selling things do you currently do in your agency? And be honest, what do you complete? Do you on the blogging side, do you blog every day, 3 times a day? Do you use LinkedIn to contact people only to get introductions? Do you use Facebook for advertising just posting, some of your agency picks, or do you have a business-driven, Facebook page or whatever? So that'll give you an idea of some of the things that we're going to talk about today.
That's good.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close the poll.
Okay, so based on this poll results, some of this will feed right into what some of you are already doing by using LinkedIn, and some of you said all of the above for social selling, and some of you said none of the above. So hopefully we'll be able to jumpstart those of you who are not using social selling yet, and also for those of you who are social selling, really help you get to that next level. So this is an agenda, and like I said, some of this is going to move pretty quickly, some of it's a little more detailed, but we're going to talk about business-to-business buying and how that's changed over the years, LinkedIn, why we should be tapping into this resource, how to establish your online presence and build your brand, and searching for referrals, and then setting goals for yourself. And then, as Dwight said at the end, we'll have a little bit of time for Q&A. I know that this particular slide looks really, really busy, but what we want you to see is that loyalty builds as you move from the red to the blue on the screen. You can see that with TV ads, a company gains brand awareness. People know who you are. But the goal is to move to the blue side, where clients are not just talking about how great a company is, but they're talking about the services that you provided for them and the experiences that they've had with you within their own social networks. That's where they become an advocate for your company. So I know when I'm making a big purchase, I always do some research online. My guess is that most of you do as well. If you look at this slide, the ease of finding product information online is the most important key for small business owners when they're looking to make a purchase, followed by what their peers and colleagues say about that company. We're going to show you how you can use LinkedIn so that their peers and colleagues are saying great things about you as an agent. And I think this slide is pretty telling. If you look at what the business owners are saying about our marketing efforts, 52% of them say that companies do not market effectively to me. 46% are saying that companies are trying to sell them versus talking to them. Through this program today, we're going to talk about how you can utilize LinkedIn to educate your insureds so that you're more of a business consultant for them, really trying to educate them on what it means to have insurance and different coverages that they may need. So let's talk about how the buying process has changed. I'm in my 40s, and I remember the day whenever it was a single business owner made the decision for the entire company that they worked with. Today, the average buying decision involves 5.4 people in any given company. Business-to-business buyers are using social media during the evaluation. 75% do research on their vendors online, and 76% of buyers, again, prefer to buy from a vendor recommended by someone within their network. These aren't new statistics. If you look at the return on investment on cold calling, it's about a 2%. So for 100 phone calls that you make, you can plan on closing on about 2 of those phone calls. If you're doing referrals, the hit ratio is closer to 80 to 90%. So it's pretty easy to see where we should be spending our time, which is on referrals rather than cold calls. And during the session, we're going to talk about how you can build more of those referrals. We know the business customers and partners that we do business with, like BMI groups or financial planners, but what we want to find out is, who do they know? We know which of our friends and partners are business owners, but who do they know that we could tap into for resources? We're all familiar with the old sales model where you do cold calls and sales demos and you're qualifying leads, and it all feeds together to generate about a 1 to 2% closing rate. Under the new model, it's really about using social networks to make new contacts, to educate our contacts on our industry, educating ourselves on what our clients and other companies are doing, and engaging our networks at a new level. The social sale comes from all of these working together to help build our own personal brand. And if you just want to click through these pretty quickly, it's the slide builds. LinkedIn has 111 million members in the United States. That's 2/3 of the working population. LinkedIn has 2 billion network updates that are viewed weekly. 40% of the users that are accessing LinkedIn are on mobile devices, so they can search for information anywhere. And most users are between the ages of 35 to 54 years old. And there are over 3 million business pages on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is big. There are 200,000 insurance agency staff that are registered. And a point that I want to make on there is I've been a member of LinkedIn since I think 2008 maybe. And until this year, the only thing that I did with LinkedIn was I would get an invite and I would accept it and I would move on. I didn't utilize LinkedIn to its fullest potential. And what we have found is that the majority of those 200,000 agency staff are not using it to its fullest potential either. There are 7 million professionals working for small businesses that are registered, and 1 million small business owners that are registered in LinkedIn in the U.S. Now, let's talk about how you can tap into this resource. You might want to just make a note that whenever you come to the Google page, this is where you want to do this on your own laptop or on your own computer. If you have dual screens where you can Google your own name, try that with your own name and see if you're the first name to appear. That's what our goal is to be number one when you Google your own name. So let's take a look at LinkedIn. Whenever you launch LinkedIn, and again, if you have dual screens, you can do this on your own as well so that you can follow through with us. My headline used to say Tracy Higgy Kelly, SCSR at the Hartford. That doesn't really tell anybody what I do or who I do it for, so I changed it. So mine now reads Executive Sales Rep, partnering with agents to provide excellent products and services to customers of the Hartford. I think it gives a little more insight on what I actually do. I highly recommend that you use your headline to tell people what you do. When we write down agent or producer, most of the buying world don't even know what those functions are as an agent or producer. So I highly recommend that if you have a specialty, you highlight it in your headline within LinkedIn. Here are a couple of other profile suggestions that some of my other agents have used. One of them says consultative insurance sales professional, focused on construction clients, diligently working to protect your business. And a second example is putting clients first and providing coverage tailored to your exact needs, nothing more, nothing less. Those have captivating words in it that really gain the interest of the people who are looking at that profile online. So this is something that you need to think about for yourself. And what do you want to share about yourself? How do you want to start building the brand of yourself within LinkedIn? Did you know that profiles with a picture are 11 times more likely to be viewed than ones without a photo? So my advice to you is go in, if you don't have a photo in there, upload it and make it public so that people can find it. This slide here walks you through the steps on how you can do that. Now let's talk about optimizing your LinkedIn URL. You want to make it personal and you want to make sure that it's public. It continues to help build your personal brand. If your name is already taken, you can put your name with a couple of numbers after it. And a lot of my agents are using this as part of their signature line so that when someone clicks on that signature line, it immediately takes them to their profile so someone can find them easily on LinkedIn. This next section is our summary section. And this is going to take some time for you to complete. Mine's not fully completed yet either. Because it really gets to talking about some personal information about yourself, and you need to figure out what you want to share, what you want your brand to be, and how you want to message it. The information isn't something you're going to develop while we're on our webinar here. It's likely things that you will develop out over the next few weeks. In the first section, like you want to break it down into 4 sections, and in the first section you want to build trust and value by talking about yourself as a professional, what kind of experience you have, what kind of specialties you have. The second section is introducing your agency, mention how many customers that you insure. The third section is making yourself personable. That's where you want to share some of your interests, things that you're involved in within your community, including business associations. And then the last section is the call to action. Invite visitors to connect with you if they have any questions or to stay in touch with you so that they can receive your news updates on LinkedIn. Remember, whenever you're filling this section out, talk in first person. When you talk in third person, it doesn't feel personable. So make sure you're doing it in first person. This next section, if you click on your picture, it brings up privacy and settings. select what others see when you view their profile, and then click on your name and headline. Why do you think it's important to make this section public? It's because companies spend a lot of time and money in developing and maintaining their social media. When you're researching a prospect or even a current client, it will show that prospect or the current client that you've been doing your research, that you've been doing your homework, at least footprints that you were there. And you want to make sure that you let them know that you're doing your homework as well. So the next section we're going to talk about is, this is where we really dig deep into LinkedIn and how to utilize this resource to accelerate referrals. When you're making connections in LinkedIn, you really want to think about these things. You want to think about who your current customers are. Make sure that you're connected with them on LinkedIn. Potential prospects, centers of influences, and sources of referrals like BMI groups or financial planners or accountants that you may know. This helps you to be able to develop that second level. When you're inviting someone to connect, remember that you want to tell them how you found them, why you want to connect, and what they can expect from you in LinkedIn. You can save a template so that it saves you time as you build out those connections when you go through LinkedIn. So now we're going to go a little bit deeper. If you look at this screen, at the top there's the white bar for searching, and there's a magnifying glass. To the right of that is an advanced search, and we're going to click on that. Okay, so you can utilize filters so that you can search as narrow or as wide as you're looking to search. And the more filters you put on, the narrower that your search becomes. So this example, it's highlighting that someone clicked first and second connections as well as group members. And that's going to highlight everyone within that group. You already know probably who your first connections are, who are owners or founders of a company. My recommendation is look for your second connections. Those are people who are connected to someone that you know. So in this example, it shows that there are 637,000 second connections. So then you can narrow it down by industry. You can choose whichever industry you're interested in. You can also narrow it down by location. You can put in zip codes. You can put in certain cities. And now we're looking, if you look at your second connections, when you go through this process, it'll pull up, this is a list of second connections, and there are 369 of those. And whenever you pull them up, it tells you who your shared connections are. So I'll pause here for a minute and just give a little bit of insight. If that second connection is a small business owner that operates 10 or fewer employees, it might not be something where you would need to go to Beth and say, hey Beth, can you make a connection for me to this small business owner? It may be something where you can go direct to that insured and say, I also work with Beth. I do insurance for her, and I would love to talk to you about how I might be able to help you out as a small business owner. For the larger opportunities, that is where you may want to play on some of these first connections who have a connection with that second connection for you. So you might call Beth, Zach, or Greg to say, hey, can one of you make an introduction for me to this business owner? I'd like to get my foot in the door. Okay, so on this one, we're going to talk about how you can use keywords to narrow down your searches. Under keywords, if you type in quotations, owner, and then the word or, and then in parentheses again, partner, or you can do founder. What that does is it narrows it down, not always to the business decision maker, but typically to the people who own or founded the business. So it'll put you in touch more than likely with the decision maker for that business. Also, you want to choose second connections, and then choose an industry, and then click on search. So if anybody wants to share, you can type it in chat on how many second connections you had. Can they type that in there? If they're doing it on their own?
You bet. So you can do that in chat or questions.
Okay. We'll give that just a second to see if anybody was able to do that.
I know mine literally have like 2 million.
That's amazing.
Second connections.
Right.
I've like, I don't even know now, 1,700 connections, right? Because every time I get off the phone, I'll go to LinkedIn, or every time I get out of a meeting, I'll go to LinkedIn with their business card and I'll invite them to connect. That's
smart, because then that's building out your network. Okay, we'll go on to the next slide. So what Dwight and I are showing you here today is the things that are free within LinkedIn. There's actually a premium version that you can pay for. I believe it runs about $25 a month. But my personal thought is until we're utilizing the free version to the fullest of its capacity, then there's no reason to pay for a premium version until we need it, until we've exhausted everything that we can do in the free version. So, but it is out there in case you wanted to delve deeper into the different searches. So now we're going to walk through some of this with a targeted class or a targeted client. So first, we're going to identify the decision makers and learn more about the company. Whenever you're at the home page of LinkedIn, if you click on the small arrow, a list drops down on the left-hand side of the search bar, and you can choose between all, people, jobs, companies, groups, universities, posts, or your own inbox. And for this example, we're going to choose companies. We want to clearly describe what's in the box, total number of employees. When you click on that number, on the right, if you click again, it'll pull it up. There you go. It highlights that there are 5 second-degree connections within that company and 90 employees that are on LinkedIn that are within that company. So it's a great tool to do your homework on some of those businesses that you want to go after, or even ones that you currently write. When you click on the box, it takes you to a list of potential connections that you have within that company. This is a way to quickly identify incidental similarities between the employees who are there and even the business decision makers. You can see which companies they're connected to, who they're following, what their education is, how you're connected, and what you have in common. There you go. Next one. Yeah, that's when we just click through. Somehow it went backwards. Okay. So, yeah.
I might have left out a slide.
That's okay. Nope, this is just highlighting that whenever you're looking at individuals, you can see again the companies that they're following. That tells you what companies they're interested in, and you can see if you have anything in common with these individuals as you're looking them up on LinkedIn. And again, it talks about different education for the different people who you may be doing homework on, and as well as how you're connected. Okay. So this next slide, this was new for me. All of what we've talked about so far, I was somewhat familiar with from just clicking on accept when someone invited me to join them on LinkedIn. But in the last 6 months, I've been delving deeper into LinkedIn. And this was new for me, and I think it's very, very helpful. And again, it's free. If you click on the star, it allows you to add a note, a reminder, and tag each professional, even those that you're not connected to yet. And these tags are private. So what you write here isn't shared with those people that you're collecting notes on. So one of the most effective tools that LinkedIn offers is the reminder, and you can set up a customizable reminder to take action with a prospect. And this will come to you just the same way that the LinkedIn updates come to you. Mine typically come, I believe, every other day, but these reminders will come into your email and give you a reminder of what kind of action you wanted to take with a prospect based on what you set up in this LinkedIn management. Consider using tags whenever you're working with an organization or new contacts, like prospecting from January, clients or transportation industry. These will help you quickly search and identify people within certain groups that you're working. Okay, this is an example of how you can sort out your contacts based on a tag. So you can say, if you look at this example, it shows you the different tags: location, title, source, and then you could click on any one of those to pull that forward. So the next piece that I wanted to talk about is sharing content on a regular basis. The Hartford has tried to make it very easy for our agencies to share content either on LinkedIn, on their own website, or through other social media like Facebook. One of the things that we have is the Business Owner's Playbook. What's great about that is it's not just the Hartford. It's really geared at helping a client to really understand what stage their business is in and what they should be thinking about within that stage. So if you're a new business owner, you're thinking about different things than someone who's a mature business and maybe thinking of an exit plan for themselves. So within the playbook, it really walks through things that a client should be thinking about based on where they're at within their development of their company. We also have something called Small Biz Ahead. And within that website, there's some information that's Hartford driven. Some of it's gleaned from other websites that we publish. A lot of it is just geared at really managing a company. What we found is that a lot of small commercial clients don't have an HR department. They don't have someone who's doing their own, really seeking out to see what coverages are emerging within a marketplace. And so we try to use this as a resource for you so that you can educate your clients on the materials that are out there to help them understand what coverages they may need, what gaps may be within their policy. And again, this is all available as a Hartford agent through our website.
Yeah, you know, that's a good point. Not only will we answer the questions, but we'll also I'll invite each one of you to join my network. And you can, I will share that content, Hartford content, with you. And you know, it's some corporate content, especially insurance-related stuff, is, you know, as fun as like watching glue dry. You know, this is really it's totally not like that. Hartford is fun and energetic, and I think I don't know if you've seen some of the ads. In fact, I'll send a link in our follow-up email to some of the fun videos and things that we have. I mean, we have some dry stuff that, you know, it's not much fun to watch, but there's also some really fun advertisements and stuff that'll be useful, and it'll also show the attitude around the Hartford, really.
Absolutely. Some of this material is geared at just educating small business owners on how they can better run their own business, and really just putting some resources at their fingertips. And we want to deliver it through Dwight to you guys so that you have access to that kind of information and can really become an advisor for the people that you're insuring, rather than someone who's just trying to sell them something. You're trying to help educate them and elevate their understanding of insurance.
Right. Well, you know, one of the questions is the frequency of posts. Do you have? We only have time for a couple questions, but what frequency would you post? And would you post a couple things online every day, or do you reach out every single day to new prospects and using these search terms? Or
right. So my recommendation for posts, you'll have to figure out what works best for you. As I stated earlier, there are over 1 billion posts updated weekly through LinkedIn. I think if you do something every day, people might have a hard time keeping up with the information you're putting out there. If you do it once a week, that's much more manageable for people to read through and figure out what's applicable to them and what they want to read. That's the great thing about LinkedIn. They can click on it and read it if they want to, and if they don't want to, they don't have to read through it. They can just skim over that one. But as far as really working the leads that you discover by doing your second connections, it's like any other resource. If you don't work the tool, it's not going to work for you. So I challenge my agencies to really put 1 hour every Monday on their calendar to really work their LinkedIn profile, brand, and those second connections for leads. Because if they don't put the time on the calendar, then our day tends to run away from us, and then we never really got to it. But if you put down time on a calendar, it's easy to make one phone call a day or one message through LinkedIn a day to the different clients that you're prospecting. That's doable, one a day.
Yeah. I totally agree. Well, yeah, I think you know, we have quite a few questions we'll answer on a follow-up email. Again, I wanted to thank everybody for attending the Hartford Social Selling webinar. We have a lot of great products, and I think, you know, I'll share the products and a couple of the links to the ads and things that we talked about. And I want to thank you, Tracy, for coming. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I hope everybody finds it useful, and it's a source of new leads and referrals for you all.
So if you have any additional questions, please go ahead and you can email me directly. My email address is, you know, at the end of the email, but it's Dwight, DWIGHT, @Stuckey.com. And I look forward to talking to everybody.